Let's now in this video learn about how we can use the subtotal function in Excel. The subtotal function is for you to add subtotal at the subcategory level. For example, we have different subcategories, and if you want to add totals to it on that level, we can do that mechanically as well by identifying the subcategories and then totaling it, or you could use the subtotal function. Let's first understand this example and see how we can use the traditional approach and then also do it for the subtotal function approach. So understanding this example first, you can see that this is the information regarding various salesmen. We have their city that they belong to, the state, segment, and the various quarters, the quarterly performance and the total of it. For example, if we look at Aarti, the city she belongs to, the state, the segment that she belongs to, the various quarter performance, and finally the total. You will also see that Amy has been repeated thrice. That is because she has been working across 3 cities, and the segment she had worked, the quarterly sales she has done, and then finally the total. Similarly for Anya, Bond, Brian, etc. So you will see that this kind of data is getting repeated for many of the employees, and it is becoming very difficult to analyze as to how much each one of them have performed. Okay, so here if you want to see, Amy has performed across city, state and segments in this particular year. We have the information, and I will have to look at the total numbers and add them up for the Amy sales. Same thing for Anya. So if I have to do it for Amy, I will have to total all these 3 together. For example, if you want to do it traditionally, we use the sum function, and we are using Amy basically J6 to J8, close the bracket and hit enter. So this is the sales of Amy. Similarly, if we have to consider Anya, she gives us these 3 information, so we have to add up for her. We use all these 3 and we can close the brackets. So this is the information that is provided. One is Amy, one is Anya, and if you have to compare, we can see that what kind of sales they have done across cities. But if you want to compare them, their performance, it is becoming very difficult to do so, because if I have, let's say, 800 to 900 employees, and for each employee if I have to identify and then do a subtotal, it will be very, very difficult. So I want to use something which can do this thing very quickly for me. For that, what you need to do is go to the data tab, and under the data tab we have this option of subtotal. So this will quickly calculate rows of related data by inserting subtotals and totals, right? Just click on subtotal. It will ask you to select a range, no problems. So let's select a range first, and now click on subtotal. Okay, so it is also telling us to include the labels as well. Do you want to include the row? I would say yes. Okay, Excel is very intelligent, right? It is giving you all hints as to how you're supposed to work on your data. Okay, fine. So we take the suggestion. Now here at each change, what do you want to consider? The salesman, city, state or segment, or the quarters? I want to do it on the basis of salesman, so I leave it salesman only. Which function do you want to use? I would like to use the sum function, count, average, max, min. I'll keep it sum only. I want to sum it up. I want to add all the segments, the total segments, or how do you want it? Let's say I want the total. So let's keep the total only. Replace current subtotals, summary below data. Summary below data, it means at the end also there will be a total. So let's keep that and click on OK. Now if you look at the sheet, it looks a bit different, right? We have certain additional rows that got inserted, which is giving us the total for each of these salesmen. For Aarti, for Amy, we have a separate total. For Anya, for Bond, Brian, Bruce, Charles, Christopher, and then finally we will also have the grand total, right? At the left hand side, if you observe, there are certain numbers within the group. Now what is this? this is giving us the grand total of all the sales. At number 2, it is giving us the total of all the salesmen. Okay, and then finally the grand total. And at number 3, we can find all the modules together with individual level of work done. Okay, so if you have to click on minus sign, all the data gets this kind of providing us a summary that we saw in 2. Let's see all the data over here under the third number option that we are getting. Okay, so under 3 we have the individual granular level data, under 2 we have only the subtotals of each salesman, and under 1 we have only the grand total. So now if you want to, let's say, format the data, let's say I want to highlight these totals, I want these totals to be highlighted. Although these names have been bold out, these numbers have not been. So let's make it more visually appealing, and let's say I wanted to highlight yellow. Let's go to 2 and try doing it. Let's select all of this and select the yellow color. What happens to 3? Let's see. No, this is not what I want. What is happening is every total as well as data that is inside it is getting highlighted. This is not what I want. So let's get back to 2 and remove this coloring effect. This is not what we want. We want only the totals to be highlighted yellow. So in order to do that, what you can do is just select the range over here. Click F5 on your keyboard, and what you see is the go to function. This go to function will help you color only the selected cells. So after clicking F5 on your keyboard, this go to command will open up. Here you need to click on special and click on visible cells only. Okay, so you want to highlight only the visible cells. Since these are the visible cells, we want them to be highlighted, and we click on OK. So you will see that they are now selected correctly. What you can do is now go ahead and give a color. Let's now go to sheet number 3 over here, which is giving us the granular data, and you will find that the coloring has happened the way we wanted it to happen, such as only the totals have not now got highlighted, and now it is clearly visible that this is basically the subtotal of this category. Fine. So this was how we can use the subtotal function in order to provide totals to subcategories and format them to make it more visually appealing.